Today I'm going to show you how to change the starter on a 1997 Volkswagen Cabrio. The same method would apply to the Volkswagen Golf or Jetta of that time frame that all have the same 2.0 liter engine. So let's get started. With the battery, we have to disconnect the negative battery terminal to make sure that there's no live voltage on the starter when we go to work on it. Now, so down here, this is the starter motor. Right here, this block, and basically it's just a matter of removing it and replacing it with the new one. Okay, so we're up and under the engine now, and I may want to put the jack under the engine because I may have to undo an engine mount. I don't want to put the jack on the oil pan because that could crush the gasket and make it leak. So I may want to put the jack on this point here, which is right next to the pulleys. So what I want to do is get this splash guard out of the way. There are two ways to get this off. So what you can do here is up here, put a screwdriver in here, and just pry down on that and get that off. There's another one here. Put the screwdriver in there. And pry down and get this one. Now this thing will just swing down out of the way. Now the next thing is to undo the battery. I have this thing, which is a 12-volt adapter and a car socket plug. And what I can do is plug this in the wall, plug this in the car socket. So when I undo the battery, I'm not going to lose the radio settings, the clock, all that stuff. The computer, even the engine management computer, will keep all of its settings in memory, such that, you know, if potential of rough idling or something like that will not happen because I undo the battery. So this is not a straightforward plug hooked to an adapter. There's an actual diode in here, and so just don't make this circuit up yourself. If you're interested and would like to know how to make this, send me a private message or comment on this video or something, and I can make a video to show you how to make one of these. It's very simple. So I'm going to plug that in the car now. So the next step then is to remove the negative terminal of the battery, not the positive, the negative. Oh, and another thing to check before you do this and you plug that thing in the car, you may want to make sure that the cab light is off in the car, just in case you have to open the door or anything. You won't, put a lot of electrical load on the system. Anyways, to undo the battery, in this particular battery, you just undo the poster just enough and take it off like that, and that's it. So here's a question for you: why did I undo the negative battery terminal, not the positive? Undo this connector here, and there's another electrical connector down here, which is the trigger wire for the starter. Put your hand on that and unplug that one. There you go, that one's off. Okay, so both of those are off. Now this big heavy wire coming in here, this one's from the battery positive, and this one here feeds from this one over to the alternator. So this would have been live if we didn't undo the battery. So now we undo this bolt here. Undoing this bolt will take all this apart, and so that'll be removed from the starter. Then there's a couple bolts. Undo the starter, and then the starter should come off. Okay, so we got our 13mm socket on that nut that holds that cable on. Just a couple turns and it leaks. It's not very very tight. So just get your hand down there and you undo that nut. And with that off comes these two cables. So that's from the battery. That cable that goes on last. Okay, so they're off now. Okay, so this is why we need to put the jack up and under the engine. Right here, this nut tightens the starter on, and it goes all the way through to here. Now on this side where it mounts, that's also the mount for this engine mount. So the engine mount screws onto here. So when you undo that bolt, the engine mount comes undone. The engine could potentially move or fall down, so we just put the jack under it and we jack it up so it won't fall. And as far as the underside of the starter is concerned, there's two nuts we got to undo. We got to undo this bolt. Looks like it's a 16mm. This looks like a 13mm socket, that is. So undo this one, and the other on the top, and that's it. The starter should come right off in our hands. So we put the jack under that under there. We just, that's it, just enough to take the weight off the weight of the engine off that front mount. That's it. All right, so let's undo those bolts. So I'm going to get on this 13 millimeter. Just undo it. And then I'll take this nut off. All right. So that's off. Now, okay, so it looks like there's a nut behind that. That's got to come off too. So we're going to need the 16 millimeter. Okay, I tell you, it's a good thing this camera's got a stop button, because fellow spends half the time looking for tools because he's got them lost or he's got them put down somewhere. Don't know where he put it. Okay, this one's going to come off now, and this one is the left for loose, right? So yeah, left for loose. This one's a little tight, but not too bad. Okay, that one can do it by hand now. What you want is impact wrench. Just zip it off. Except the compressor. It's just that it makes so much fucking noise. I live in a place where they don't like me to make noise, so I gotta do everything on the fucking sly. Okay. That's out. Now, this one here, this is the engine mount bracket here. So when I undo this, that's why we put the jack under. It wasn't too hard, but when I did that, I did hear the engine. I did hear something shift. So, I don't know, I hope I don't have too hard of a time getting that back on. They're trying to line everything up. Probably not. Oh, it only shifted by a whisker. Okay. So now on the top side, that bolt is the last thing to come off. So, oh, it's not very tight. And I chose to do this one on the top side last because I'm planning on pulling the starter out through the top, not the bottom, because that power steering line that runs under the starter is a solid tube, and you're not going to be able to move that around to be able to get past it. So that's why we want to come out through the top. Now when I take this out, this whole thing might fall around the ground. So that's that. Let's see now. How can we get this out of here? Off and out. Okay, that's it. That's the starter. And actually, I'm pretty surprised. It was only, geez, this is about 3 pounds. Now, the older Chevys, right? You got the old, big old, massive starter for starting those V8 engines. Those things, the inside the body of the starter, the field, which is the body, is not. This one here's got permanent magnets, but that one they would have these big hunking cores of metal with all of these windings, and that would make the starter motor very large, very heavy. And I mean, you'd need 2 hands or a fellow holding the starter up while the other fellow would be bolting it on. But this one here, I mean, I can. Oh, there's nothing to that. All right, so new one. That's the new starter. So the question is, are these both the same? They're supposed to be. You want to put them side by side, compare them, make sure all the holes line up the way you expect them to. Because one hole could be off by a hairline, and that would be enough to ruin your day. So we're going to have to see. It's supposed to be the same. I wanted to show you this. Do not strike with hammer. Yeah. How do you think I know that the starter is okay? How do you think I got the car in the garage? I'll tell you about striking the starters with the hammer and how you can get them to work again later in a different video. But they said don't strike with a hammer. but I did, and I got my starter going, and I'll tell you why in a later video. So with the starter, it always gives you a cool opportunity to look around. So this is what the starter engages with. This here is the ring gear on the flywheel. So those teeth, that's, you know, this is the pressure plate that the clutch mounts onto, and so the starter gear just connects onto those teeth, and when you engage the motor, it spins the engine around by spinning those teeth.